That man truly is kind of a menace to society. Just like, what can robot boyfriend do? He can do everything. He can do everything. Yep. I do lean avoidant. Oh, there, said it. That would make up for the sins that like a man commits. This is in fact the shirt that I wore for my 2023 favorites video. I have an affinity. I have an emotional connection to this shirt right now. I thrifted it for 50 cents. When I was back home. It's just a plain black long sleeve. It's literally from Target. It's the brand A New Day, but it feels like a part of me. I don't know how to describe it. So if you have anything to say about the fact that this has been stuck to my body for like the past 2 weeks, guess what you are? You're a classist. Yeah, I went there. You're a classist. You're a classist. How does that feel? Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about, who can guess?
Is it a job?
No.
Are you in a relationship now? Like, are you seeing someone finally? It's been
books. Yeah.
Oh, is it finally?
No,
books?
I know.
Are talking about books?
We're talking about books for once. The year 2023 for me, unfortunately, did result in a reading slump. It did. I moved. Things were hectic. The last thing I wanted to do was read. I find reading to be a hobby, an enjoyment, and that's not really what I wanted to do. But I started back up end of summer 2023, and I've been reading. Just here and there. I'm easing back into reading, guys. I'm easing back into reading like a baby weans off his mama's breast milk and he starts to eat solid. Why am I gendering a baby? She, look at this room, look at this channel. She begins to eat solid food for the first time, and she is going to eventually wean off of mama's mommy milk altogether. That's what I'm doing. It's very similar to the brat diet: bananas, rice, is it apples? And God only knows what the tea is. I don't know what the tea is. But it's the thing when you have like a lot of diarrhea and you need to, firm up your stool. It's actually not similar to that at all. We're taking it slow. I love basing my content around books and I love talking about books, but I've learned that reading is purely just a hobby for me, and it's really not something that I can commodify or just kind of like do for the sake of content, which I wish it is, but that would destroy my relationship with reading, and we're just getting to know each other. Reading is in fact my ex. We had a thing when I was younger, and then we broke things off. What's the word I'm looking for? Distance did in fact come between us, but we're back now, and I'm really taking our relationship really slowly. I'm treating it with tender love and care. This is what I've been reading recently. Like, can you please, my mom's first generation iPad is officially out of commission. It did log me out, and I am not foolish enough to bother that woman to ask for her Apple ID to log back in. She probably wouldn't give it to me. She's very secretive and very private. That's where I get my secrecy from. So I did in fact purchase this Amazon Kindle for a total of $7 on Mercari.com. Came with a charger, came with a carrying case as well, and it's lit. I love it. I only use it to read. Is it still on? No, it's not. It finally died. Oh, it's still on. I've not charged this thing in like 3 weeks, and I've been using it. The battery life is insane. I brought this here to say that naturally, of course, you know me, I am a Z Library LibGen fiend. I don't have any of these physical books, which is unfortunate because I like to like hold whatever. If you follow me on TikTok, I've already reviewed the first book, but it's Heaven by Miko Kawakami. Like, talking about Miko Kawakami makes me actually physically nauseous because I love her and I love her writing so much. Heaven by Miko Kawakami follows the story of two Japanese middle schoolers. I don't believe the protagonist, his name is ever mentioned. If it is, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting. But they're unfortunately both subjected to relentless, awful torment. They're both bullied. The boy is bullied because he has a lazy eye, and the girl, I know her name, it's Kojima. She just looks kind of like dirty. She has like really raggedy, tattered clothes, and they're never like clean. She has a weird haircut, and of course people bully her for that, but she has a reason. She's literally the smartest girl in the world. I love her so much. She's so emotionally tapped in. Like, that's my girl. You have to read the book. I'm not gonna tell you. And unfortunately, the boy just kind of chooses to suffer. He doesn't really let anyone in on what he's going through. He doesn't retaliate. He doesn't really do anything. So he's really suffering in silence until he meets Kojima, and they obviously have an understanding of what the other person is going through, and so they seek refuge in each other. And it's a very touching story on their personal development, their development as friends, their home life, how they deal, with their bullies and like what they're going through. And we even get to talk to some of their bullies. I enjoyed everything about this book. I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the plot, but I like what will always do it for me is Kawakami's prose. In this book, there exists such a special dichotomy between the playful, innocent, youthful, they're like both like 13, 14 dialogue that transpires between these two characters, and the horrible, awful, awful things that are happening to the both of them. Kami does such an excellent job of writing like a kid, like writing in a way that feels innocent and juvenile, but it doesn't feel like a character. It doesn't feel like, like you never scratch your head or, stop and think for a second. It doesn't feel unnatural or ingenuine at all. She really, really, really does a great job of just capturing a childlike, a very innocent sense of wonder and like the way that you look at the world when you're like not even 16 years old. One of my favorite lines from this book, and I think of all time, is when the main character, the boy, he is developing a little bit of a crush, let's just say like an admiration for Kojima. They communicate, they don't speak during school, which is really unfortunate. So they communicate through letters for a big chunk of the book. He says that he likes her voice. He compares it to like a lead pencil and how smooth it is. And that is just so the sweetest thing I've ever heard. But it's just like that kind of analogy as well is just also something that, okay, as an adult, I don't know who's watching this right now, but I haven't picked up a mechanical pencil since I was like maybe 19 years old. And so that just feels like a very kiddish thing. The two kids discuss not only like fun and frivolous things, but deeper things like family, why they think they're getting bullied, the mental intricacies or like the psyches of their bullies, like what really drives people to treat them, that the way they've been treated. If you're not aware with how bad bullying is in kind of like East Asia, I don't know about any other place, but like Korea or Japan, those kids are freakazoids. I don't know what is in the water. I don't know what is in the air over there. The stuff they got going on, that makes Western bullying look like absolutely nothing. They like beat and torment these kids, and it's truly the worst thing that you've ever read. And like, it's like literally awful. I had to like stop a few times. I'd read this a lot on the train during work, and I had to like stop and remind myself that it wasn't real. Did I cry while reading this book? Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. On the train in public, man, I did not care. I didn't care. I read this towards the end of summer, and a big chunk of the book is in summer, so it felt very fitting. All of the analogies and like descriptions of like hot weather and how sticky it is. It just felt right reading it during that time. I'm glad I read it during that time. I don't think this is a spoiler, but towards the end of the book, the protagonist has a choice on whether or not he wants to fix his lazy eye through surgery or not. I will not tell you what he chooses to do, but his decision and kind of like what happens after that forces the reader to kind of expatiate on the notion that our burdens, our hardships in life, fixing whatever perceived flaw that you think you have, it's absolutely not the answer to things. Things aren't just going to magically clear up and change and be fixed in your life. It's going to, be the way that you want it to be. It's our attitude, it's our will, it's what's on the inside that will really change things. Am I basically saying it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside? Very corny, but yes. I love Kawakami's writing. I hope more of her work gets translated so we can all read it. I love her writing. It's so simple, but so profound. Packs a punch. I love me some her. Next book I have is Paradais. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, by Fernanda Melchor. This book is about two misfit teenagers in a gated community in Mexico. Franco is a lonely, overweight, addicted to porn freak bitch. He's obsessed with his neighbor, an attractive, wealthy, married woman and a mother. And then we have Polo, who works as a mother. He's very, very poor, very miserable, and alcoholic, drinks himself silly every single night. And he dreams about getting out of that community. Both freaks in their very own way. They drum up this scheme to kind of get what the other person wants. Franco, or Fat Boy, he's already rich, so he's not looking for any kind of like monetary escape. I'm not gonna tell you what they do, obviously, but I was not prepared for what these boys were gonna do. I was not prepared. I'm gonna tell you right now, I was not prepared. Let's just say I would not have read this book if I knew what it was about. I'm just not, because I'm glad I read it. I absolutely am. I would not have read it if I... And I want to tell you why. This book is incredibly multidimensional. There's lots of layers to consider and keep in mind as you're reading, and even after you read. Before the reader even gets to have the delight of knowing what these boys scheme up, the language that these two characters use is insane. It's crude, it's misogynistic, it's violent, it's vulgar, it's nasty. The prose that Melchor also takes on, it took me by surprise at all. First of all, there's no punctuation in this. Some of the chapters go on for pages and pages and pages and pages, not a single period. As you're reading this, it feels like you can't stop, okay? Like, there's no pause. You can't literally get your head up, for some air. It's truly suffocating. You're kind of like in on these two young boys, like very, very, very graphic, awful, nasty conversation and dialogue. You want nothing but out, and you kind of can't escape for a little bit. Melchor, being the brilliant mastermind that she is, half the way through the book, I realized, oh, this is intentional. You not only become a bystander and an unfortunate witness to what happens at the end, you are witnessing and you're a bystander to these two young men. They're awful, derogatory, just like insane speech, and you kind of can't do anything about it. The women in this book are also incredibly objectified. Hey guys, they're objectified. Yep. Slurs and this and that thrown left and right. Absolutely. The book talks a lot about Fat Boy's muse. No, his victim. Can you imagine? Okay, first of all, can you imagine being a wealthy, attractive woman? You have kids, you have a husband, you have a household to take care of, you have Pilates or whatever it is that you do, and then secretly there is some little freak fantasizing, and oh my god, anyway. Oh wow, women go through so much. Oh my god! She is a character that's so interesting because she's only described from the male gaze. You don't get to know her personally. You don't get to know her perspective of things. You don't get to know, honestly, a single personal thing about her. You get to know how she looks. You get to know in great detail what her ample breasts against her tan skin and, her gold jewelry, what that's like. And then you get to know about her finances and her husband. Oh, her name is Senora Marianne also. And in a way, she kind of embodies, not in a way, she absolutely embodies the male gaze. She is absolutely stripped of her humanity. She's nothing but an object. And unfortunately, that's the only way that you know this character. I looked up interviews after I read this book, and Fernanda Melchor did in fact said she wanted to bring light to the femicide and gender violence that women, not only in Mexico and Southern America, but all over the world, but that region specifically, obviously, are subject to. Like, watching those interviews made everything make a lot more sense. I don't even think it's supposed to be some super profound think piece and analysis on gender violence. It's just about the people that enact it. It's just about kind of where that enabling and activation come from. Class and poverty everything's always interlinked, and so those obviously mesh and make a lot of sense. Did I humanize these two characters? Absolutely not. But I think what you're supposed to do, guys, I'm gonna put my thinking cap on. I have a bachelor's degree, guys. Surprisingly, yeah, I do. And look at things from a sociological, analytical standpoint. I think you're supposed to look at these two characters, Polo and Fat Boy, as victims of a very cruel, capitalistic, misogynistic, patriarchal society. And unfortunately, see how this leads them to enact gender violence, all before doing what they did. All before enacting gender violence without even laying a hand on anybody. This book gave me the same feeling in my stomach that I got when I read Her Body and Other Parties, and that is icky. I felt bad. Once again, I'm glad I read it. I think everyone should read something like this, but it doesn't make it any easier. Okay, when you take a magnesium pill, don't you feel good that you took it? Absolutely. When you took an omega-3 fish pill, don't you feel that you took it? Yes. Does it make taking that big horse pill any easier? Absolutely not. It's all an evil, nasty cycle. And the only way that we can even make a dent or make an impact is to overthrow this patriarchal society. Am I right, guys? Let's move on to something a little bit more lighthearted. Next book I dug my paws into recently is The Happy Couple by Nisha Doland. This was on my last TBR. I told you I was going to read it, and I read it. I loved Exciting Times by Nisha Doland. And of course, I was going to be there ready to sink my claws into The Happy Couple. This book is about a young couple named Celine and Mark. I think they're both Irish, but they live and reside, and it's set in London. They're getting married. Yay! They're getting married. Except Celine is not a lesbian. She is queer in the movie. She's not a lesbian. She does like men. What is it when a woman isn't a lesbian? She's queer, but I don't think she likes men. You know what I mean? She can date one, she can even marry one, but I don't think she likes them. In the book, she's a little bit more preoccupied with, she's a pianist and she loves piano. She's more preoccupied with that. What kind of woman is that? What kind of girl is that? May or may not be queer, doesn't really love men, maybe doesn't she doesn't like them, that's for sure, and she could literally be preoccupied with something else. Something else is always going to give her passion and meaning. What kind of girl is that? A cool one. Yeah. Luke, her male partner, they've been dating for a few years. He's a dismissive avoidance, and hey, guess what, guys? A cheater, pumpkin eater. He cheats on Celine. He cheats on Celine. He cheated before he cheated again. He cheated in the relationship. He cheated, engagement cheated. But he cheats. They're supposed to get married in a year, but will they? That's basically the entire book. Lots of people in this are included in the story. Ex-lovers. We have Celine's ex-lovers. We have Luke's ex-lovers. And they're both queer, which is, it's just, I love that. That's really fun. That's a bit of me. I really, really liked this book. A sense of impending doom fills you when you read it, because we literally don't know if they get married until the end of the book. Celine and Luke are it's hours before their wedding, and they're both kind of just I really liked the relationship and the love between Celine and Luke. I found it incredibly flawed. Incredibly flawed, but I found it accurate. I found it to be a very accurate depiction of modern love and attachment. Also, just the depiction of where past relationships lie and how they affect not only that person but their current relationship. I think people like to think that exes and things like that just kind of disappear when you get into a relationship, or they're supposed to. That isn't what happens all the time, so I appreciated that. It's also, but it's also more the merrier. I am the more the merrier kind of girl. Let's bring exes, let's bring mama, let's bring papa. The messier the story gets, that's fine by me. Yeah, the characters felt very real to me. I found this kind of love and their relationship to be very realistic and pragmatic, instead of kind of either character being naive or ditzy or just a hopeless romantic, holding these notions that are very stereotypical or stiff or heteronormative or whatever. That's not my thing. Even though both characters love each other, I don't really think either of them believe in the concept of the one, and I don't believe in that either. So that's who asked you, girl? Who asked you? Okay. This was just really, really fun. Do I, in fact, relate to both Celine and Luke? Absolutely. Celine is just kind of lost in the clouds. I don't know if I have one driving thing that kind of propels my life and what I wake up for. It's definitely an amalgamation of different things. But I think that definitely holds the most weight, and she can kind of be a little bit, let's just say I know my girly maladaptive daydreams in a crazy way, let's just say that, okay? Let's just say that. And at times it can kind of not trump, but overpower her love for Luke, or maybe her relationship, even though sometimes it shouldn't. Listen, I am going to come out and reveal to you my attachment style. I do lean avoidant.
That's not.
Oh,
my goodness. Okay. Did you guys hear her? Oh, you are sick. Are you kidding me? You're a monster. You're literally a monster, and I knew it.
Oh,
I knew it. She's a freak, you guys. I knew it.
I knew
it. Like, I literally knew it. I called it. This is why I always say therapy should be free. Therapy is literally healthcare.
Thank you. Am I going to expound on that? Absolutely not. I am going to say, though, did I catch myself relating to Luke in a really crazy way? Yeah. Yep. That man is kind of a menace to society. Like, not only is he a cheater and kind of wants to be with everyone, he also wants to be with no one. Me and Luke are not the same at all. First of all, I am a intelligent woman, and I would never have my. First of all, I'm. You think I'm going through the trouble? Do you think I'm going through the trouble of getting married just to be damn near at the altar and be like, should I marry this person? You're out of your mind. He's very just like really bad at communicating, kind of doesn't really care what happens with his romantic relationships. And where my Luke girlies at? I'm gonna read you some of my favorite lines. I'm on 2%, so hopefully this doesn't die. In a vacuum, Celine's behavior would be insane. She's a gifted pianist and general savant. Why would she strain herself to hold on to some guy, especially when she didn't make any such compromises for her ex-girlfriend, a fellow virtuoso? Answer: heteronormativity is a near ubiquitous form of mania. You've heard the phrase, he's just not that into you. If asked, why don't men commit? You'll say, they will, just not to you. If asked, why don't women commit? You'll say, commit what? Suicide? That is amazing. Heteronormativity is a near ubiquitous form of mania. Tattoo that on my back. Hey, tramp stamp idea. Tramp stamp, tramp stamp, tramp stamp. Nisha Dolan, you will always be famous, okay? Do you hear me? The next book I've been filming for so long is Girl Town by Casey Nowak. Not Novak, but Nowak. This is a series of short stories. It's a graphic novel about fun girl-ness. A few of the stories are set in like a futuristic kind of like science fiction-y world, which I normally don't like. It's not my thing, but this was really, really cool. One is about a girl named Diana. She goes through a pretty bad breakup and she decides she's done with boyfriends, in a way, human boyfriends at least. She's going to buy and have a robot boyfriend, like an AI boyfriend. Another story is about two really sweet friends, Mary and Lala. It's just a podcast episode about a show that literally no one cares about. It's like a super old show. No one cares. Another one is about like two girls, like Kelly and Beth, I think. And they like visit like a secret fantasy village kind of thing. I think you can tell which story was my favorite. Let's say it together, guys. Robot boyfriend. Yeah. I love the art style. I love how lax and like super fun the book is. It's just a really fun book. I was in fact just a little bit too very quickly attached with the notion of having a robot boyfriend. You probably haven't read the story yet, but I know you're wondering like just like what can robot boyfriend do? Maybe he can do everything. He can do everything. Yep. He can drive. He can cook her. Whoa, my fingers look so stubby. Damn! Why do my fingers look so short? He can drive. He can be DD. He doesn't need to eat. He doesn't need to drink alcohol. When they go out, he's DD. He can cook her food. He can like answer any question she wants. She's like, I want to take a bath. Scrub me. He scrubs her. Rub her feet. Like, only speaks when spoken to. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You can shut him off. You're tired of him? Shut him off. No, I don't know why I can't have that in real life for me. That's what I'm saying. The next book is called Don't Go Where I Can't Follow. It's by Anders Nilsson. It is a collection of memorabilia, little mementos, letters, photos, illustrations. That Anders, who is, I think, a comic illustrationist, something like that, he compiled in memory for his fiancée Cheryl, who passed away from cancer before they could get married. It's just talking about how they met, their life together, and also gives you a brief description of life as her illness progresses, and then obviously when she passes. I read this when I went home last fall. I read it in about a day. It was really depressing. I felt bad inside. That's it. It's deeply personal, very romantic, reminds you of your own mortality. Just really sweet, really, really tender. There's not really that much to say about it. I really loved it. Actually, I do have that. I do have something to say about it. I just know they felt so deeply. That man felt so in love with her. So in love with her. I looked him up. He didn't get married after her. Like, they were fiancés. He's like 50 now. He never got married. I know that man. He was about her real bad. Really, really, really bad. And I love that. It's just like, life is so unfair. Life sucks so bad. Imagine falling in love with someone and then I can't even like finish that sentence. I can't say it. I can't finish that sentence. But that got me thinking that like it would be so awesome to impose myself onto someone, have them fall in love with me, like, and I'm talking head over heels, fall in, I truly want someone to fall in love with me, like in like a haunting kind of, like I want them to love me so bad they feel it in their bones. I don't want it to die. Like, God, whenever your time for me is, whatever time that is intended, I won't argue, I won't fight it, but please just let me have someone fall in love with me first, and then I can go. It's fine, whatever. Like, I want to haunt someone. Like, I want someone to literally. I'm done. I kind of want it to happen to a man though. Like, I just feel like that would make up for the sins that like a man commits throughout his life. Like, I'm gonna haunt you. The last book is Self-Help by Lori Moore. I'm losing it. This is a collection of short stories. In these stories talks about loss and love and family and pleasure. In one of the stories, a young woman has an affair with a man set in New York City. Another one is about like a child of divorce, and how she interacts with her mommy. Another one is about a woman with a terminal illness, and she contemplates kicking a bucket, going. This was my most recent read. I really liked these stories. They felt really easy. I've just been like into like really, really, really easy and simple like writing and prose lately. Like, I can't do anything too tough. Like, if it's a steak, I need it medium rare. It's published in the 80s, so it kind of does feel, I'm not gonna lie, old as bones. A few stories reference like pieces of media and like literature and like actors and music, like stuff like that I've never heard of my entire natural born life, ever. I actually don't have that much to say about it. I have heard of Lori Moore. I have one of her pieces here, Birds of America. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. Really good stuff. My favorite story, I guess you can tell. I do love it. Like, I do love something scandalous. Like I'm not gonna lie. I think it makes up for the absolute lack of anything what's going on in my personal life. Anyway, I liked the story about the lady who had the affair, obviously, but I am in fact glad it was a short story because it was kind of getting so annoying. Like, I'm really not the type of person to like listen to Friends boy drama. Like, I have such a short fuse and like a short capacity for it, so I'm glad it ended when it did, because I was like, girl, I'm tired of hearing, I know you want to be with this man, he's actively married, doesn't want to, date you, you're not even really getting anything out of it. Like, you guys have lunch or sleepovers sometimes, like, he's not even giving you any money. Baby girl, what are we doing here? And you're probably like 26. Like, what are we doing here? Truly, what are we doing here? Okay, that was it. The sun is going down. I've been filming for almost an hour now. That is what I've been getting my little lips. Jesus Christ. I have a list of books that I'm reading next. It's for an upcoming book video. I'm really excited about that video. I think you will be too. Thank you for watching, and I'll absolutely see you later. Yeah. Soon. I'll see you soon. You think I'm gonna ghost you again, but I'm not. And I think you actually, whatever. See you soon.